Welcome. This is not an offering from Readiness, but from Reverence. I'm not teaching today. I'm transmitting something that has remembered me. We're going to explore the posture that replaces the chase, the tone that organizes time, and why your deepest work does not need to be ready. It needs to be resonant. Hi, I'm Prema, and welcome. I'm grateful that you're here. If you haven't yet taken the Sacred Wealth Archetype quiz, this is a beautiful moment to pause, to reconnect with the soul gift that lives at the center of your purpose. You'll find the link along with this video. Frequency of reverence, replacing readiness with resonance. This transmission has been percolating and coming through for me over the last week or so. And reverence has landed in my system in a way that it never has before. I can feel it, sense it, touch it. It's encoded. It's encoding, I should say, because it's encoded in all of us. Has come alive at a level I didn't know, and now it knows me, and now I know it. I'm having a deep relationship with it. So I really wanted to share this and bring this forward because it's activating. It has the potential to be activated in all of us. And if it's coming forward for me and you resonate, then it's right there ready to come forward for you. Reverence is the felt recognition of something that's sacred. Sacred. It's not performance, politeness, or even awe. It is alignment. It's alignment. You can feel alignment. To be in reverence is to remember the true nature of what you're engaging with, the essence of what you're engaging with, whether it's a person, like even in the moment, you might be engaging with someone and they're not showing their best. But if you remember the truth of what you're actually engaging with, which is another being, and we're all one at some level, then what we're engaging with is very different. A moment. Our perception of the moment can be many different things. That's why many of us can stand in a circle and supposedly be watching the same event, but everyone has a different experience depending on your point of not only reference, but reverence. And whether it's your own voice or the infinite, it's presence. It is presence. It's plus respect, plus soul seeing. This is depth. And Reverence says, this is not mine to control. This is holy. I will meet it as such. And when we meet something that is holy, we have a whole different orientation. And what if the whole of your life was holy? What if who you were here to serve, you're reverent for, and you're seeing the holiness, or what you're being called to respond to, called to as an initiation, called to be as your purpose and mission. And when we know that it's holy, we feel that sense that it's really holy. In that meeting, everything arranges into coherence. And when coherence is present, we're present. And that's where everything unfolds. So reverence is not performance. It's posture. Reverence is not the posture of worship. It's the frequency of, again, holy awareness. You're aware from a very holy, sacred part of you, a stillness so tuned that the subtle becomes sovereign. And we must be finely tuned to even perceive the subtle. Reverence is the tone that invites the unseen to come into form, not because you summoned it, but because you remembered it was already here. All those things you're wanting to manifest and create and bring into form can't come here from lack. But when we're in the tone of reverence and we're remembering it's already here. It's that peeling away. Ah, and here it is. You don't earn reverence, you remember it. You don't perform your way into alignment, you return to it by resting in what already is whole. Reverence is an inner stance, not an outer act. And we've all seen sort of the postulation of reverence, maybe, down on the knees or even down on the belly. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely fine. But the inner stance, the inner orientation is of reverence is, again, recognize that this moment or this person or this event or this new news that's come across the media broadcast, that there's a holiness in things. And when we attend to that, and that is our viewpoint. We see, because there's many different realities happening at once, we see the beauty, the synchronicity, we see the divine. We see what's really unfolding, what's really at play, and what we're really called to in that moment. We have a choice. We can lead from sacred presence, or we can try to prove our worth or our readiness. And when we lead from sacred presence, just notice how that feels even when I say the words sacred presence. Feel the depth in that. Feel the door that opens for you. Versus prove your worth or readiness. Notice where that frequency lands, because it's all frequency. When we lead from that sacred presence, that holy part of ourselves, where we're it's just presence. And I don't mean just, I wish there was more words, but we're in this moment, trusting this moment, opening to it. It is reverent. We are reverent to it. There's a whole different organization that happens in time, in space, in choices, where when we are leading from trying to prove our worth, we're coming from lack, and we're trying to lead from lack or trying to reach for something that's outside of ourselves and try it on like a different pair of clothes or armor, or readiness. Are we ready? How do we even know if we're ever really ready? And that's looking outside of ourselves again and bouncing off the world and what we see and what other people do and say. Are we ready? Are we ready? Readiness is a distraction when reverence is absolutely the way. Readiness can pull us in so many different directions. It asks, am I enough? Reverence asks, are you already within the rhythm? You can chase readiness, and it delays resonance, and it traps leaders in performance cycles. Have you ever been in that position where you have been in that performance cycle, and then you find yourself reaching to be ready to show up again in that same way, or in a way that somebody else is, or that you think you should be? And it's contracting. It feels like heavy lifting. It can feel very false. And there's usually not any resonance in it. I've been in this cycle before, and sometimes it even shows up when others are seeing you for something that you maybe are. And even for being a Vedic astrologer, which is part of my identity, it's not all of who I am. It's one of the lenses, sciences that I use, the art of my gifts to read light through, but it's not all of who I am. But one of the ways this used to show up for me in my work, in my visibility, is there were some that's what they expected from me and wanted from me. So I, in certain situations, could stay in that loop, in that visibility of loop of just being seen for that. That is no longer. And maybe there's an identity that you have been called into or really held strongly at one point in time, and people still expect that from you. When you make the shift to resonance and reverence, you're on your own evolutionary cycle, and you're seen more for the truth of who you are. And that may mean you're seen by what it might appear to be less. Maybe you feel you're less visible, but you're seen by the ones that matter. And you are here in leadership, not to lead everyone, but there are those that you resonate with, and you can resonate and mirror and help remember in whatever capacity you're leading in. And when we are sovereign enough to know that, to own that, to be that, it's not only freeing for us, it's freeing for everyone, and it's more potent. Reverence creates coherence when you are in that reverent state. You can't help but be coherent. And when you're in coherence, coherence reshapes reality. If you're moving from a place of lack of worthiness, of outer expectations, those all shape reality in different ways. But coherence shapes reality very truly for you. When you enter coherence, you no longer seek alignment. It seeks you. It moves you into alignment. It becomes you. Time itself begins to rearrange around the frequency that you now hold. And reverence is what holds the sequence stable and true. Alignment will never fail us. And it's not 100% predictable. As far as outcomes go, it's usually better than we can imagine. And there's an element of needing to trust. But when you feel coherent and you feel in alignment, don't you want to feel that way all the time? It's not just for meditation. It's not just for those expanded experiences. It's for the everyday. It's for the mundane as well. It's the field that stabilizes, that allows divine timing to stay intact. You have a divine timing. And not because you keep it orderly, but because you honor the space between each note. And in Vedic astrology, yes, we go through different divine timing that's ruled by our transits and by our dasha sequence. And it is a suggestion. And when we pay attention to it and we trust, again, the space between the notes, maybe we want things to happen faster than they are. But if we rest in what the moment is and are stay present to and coherent to what the moment calls for, that starts to align the next moment and the next moment and the next moment. Every threshold opens when the sequence is true. And every revelation arrives when the space is ready. Reverence is how you make the space ready. You know, like when you have someone coming to town, maybe you have your mother coming and you're going to make everything just right and clean things, so that, she is comfortable and you are comfortable in the space. Maybe it's time to hold a divine ceremony. And you're going to ready the space in another way. Reverence is how you make the space ready for the divine timing in your life. So it's not do more, it's be still. And still inside, even while you're moving fast, that stillness, that place of presence. Let reverence regulate your rhythm. Let sequencing replace striving. And let the future land in your coherence, not in your grasp. I was walking in my walk. I walk every day down through the forest and down along the beach. And I had an eagle that I didn't see on one of the trees that is on the bank, not really high up where the eagle's nest is. And next thing I know, it's flying pretty close to me over like my left shoulder, kind of at eye height or maybe a little higher, and just fly within my eye line and out in front of me. And I felt it deeply because nature reflects, mirrors our coherence. And I'm sure you have felt different situations like that. And the same day, which this was yesterday, I believe, there was hummingbirds are always around me, and there was a hummingbird feeder where I was working outside, and there's food in the feeder, and one of the hummingbirds came up about a foot from my face and just fluttered there looking at me in all its joy, as they do represent joy. And again, nature will reflect your coherence. Notice that for yourself. When you're living in coherence, your relationships shift. Maybe you've been in a challenging situation or dynamic with someone. And when you're in coherence, the friction isn't there. So maybe the overall structure hasn't shifted, But there's like a peace, that's the best way I can say it. Your decisions don't come from urgency. They're arrived at. Great decisions are arrived at. It's like, oh yeah, that's the next step. And, even time can elongate or it can fly when you're in resonance. I want to invite you to let resonance and reverence, that recognizing the holiness of the moment in any moment, even the most challenging ones, lead your voice, how you're talking, what you're talking about, and where your voice is coming from, your offers, what you're putting out there in the world for people to come in and partake in your gifts and your wealth. Let reverence lead. You don't need to strategize coherence. You need to become it. And when you do, alignment becomes you. Sacred wealth isn't built by being ready. It arrives through resonance. When you're building wealth, receiving it, and allowing it to flow through reverence, not through force, through reverence, you're in that coherence of the moment. You're ever so present and attuned to what wants to come through next, what offer wants to come through. The tone of reverence, there's a tone of gratitude that's in the tone of reverence as well. There's no lack. When you're in force, you're pushing it. And we all know what it feels like in business and leadership and to be pushing something, to try to force something. And in that energy of force, of there's a flavor, there's a scent of it not being yours. Not being yours. We can allow wealth to flow from reverence and from our resonance. And it will flow from there. And sacred wealth, yes, is money. Yes, is the resources that you need and desire to be and do what you're here to be and do. But it's a state of being as well. And reverence as re-entry. I made a shift and I made a choice as reverence, coherence, and resonance is undeniable to re-enter my platform, this podcast, my offers, my even my astrology updates from a place of reverence. That's what I'm called to. Not because the world demands it, but because the resonance is now undeniable. And I am so grateful for that because I'm more at home than I've ever been. And what's unfolding because of that and remembering and the divine timing It's not magic. It's not a miracle. It's just feels incredibly true and right on time. If the tone of this conversation speaks to your deeper knowing, you may already be inside the field of sacred wealth mastery. It isn't a program that you hustle into. It's remembering that you return to when you're ready to lead from coherence, not from performance. Inside Sacred Wealth Mastery, we don't chase outcomes. We build the architecture of true prosperity through resonance, divine timing, and your unique soul code, including your sacred wealth code. If that's the signal you've been waiting for, you've been listening for, then you'll find the next breadcrumb at sacredwealthcode.com/mastery. The link is with the show or wherever you are tuning into this. Thank you for being here and receiving this transmission. If something resonated for you, if a phrase, a feeling, or a remembering stirred, I'd love to hear from you in a comment. I read them all and they help shape what's next to come. If you haven't yet taken the Sacred Wealth Archetype quiz, you'll find the link below. It's a beautiful step to reconnect with the soul gift at the center of your purpose. And if you're ready to go deeper, whether through a private reading or by stepping into the field of sacred wealth mastery, those invitations are always open. This isn't a funnel, it's a frequency. Follow what draws you. You'll find everything in the description below. And until next time, may your voice be clear, your presence be sovereign, and your path be lit from within. So much love to you.